It's funny. I did a presentation this week to a group of marketing agency owners, and I said, "How many of you think meetings suck?" And they all raised their hand. And I'm like, "Nope, your meetings suck. Not everybody's meetings suck. Your meetings suck." And so we have something called a level 10 meeting, and that is the place where we get together every week and we solve your biggest problem. It's the place every week that you get the most traction, you make the most progress. So
By the way, I'm trying to find it in here where you're talking because I'm still listening. But where? I mean, is there is the level 10 in traction?
of course, yeah, it's probably called the meeting pulse, and basically there's the meeting pulse and the meeting agenda. I'd have to pull up a copy myself. I got a couple.
Oh, I see. 176. Yeah, yeah,
Got a couple hundred copies of that around here somewhere.
yeah. Yeah. So okay. So it is. It's 176.
Yeah, and 196 is actually the agenda for the level 10 meeting. Um,
Nice. Yes, it is. Yeah, here it is. So bam. You can't probably see it, but oh, that's not
we
good.
have some rules about those meetings. You know, they're the same day every week. They're the same day, same time. They start on time. They end on time. And quite frankly, they're not optional. And
Yeah.
so we have a leadership team meeting every week. It's 90 minutes, and it's got a very very specific agenda
Yeah.
for you to get the most bang for your buck out of your meetings.
And why is it called the level 10?
Well, again, it's called the level 10 because most people's meetings are about a 4 or 5. And we've built a structure, or Gino Wickman built a structure around EOS that we can make these level 10 meetings. So at the end of the meeting and every week we ask the question, how do you rate the meeting on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best? And what we're rating here is the effectiveness of our meeting. How effective was our meeting this week? And be honest. If it was a 7, say it was a 7. And then I'm going to ask you why. I'm going to say, okay, what would have made this a 10? Why was this a 7? And I, I believe, and everybody, in EOS believes that what can be measured can be improved. Okay. And if we're measuring the level of our meetings, we want to improve them. We want to make them level 10s because we want the most effective meetings possible.
Yeah. The level 10 honestly has been transformative for us. I didn't realize how big of a gap in communication there was as you went deeper into or like different teams in the organization, right? Obviously McBee and I talk all the time. We talk a lot with Tim. We talk a decent amount with our directors. But it's like we didn't create the tools. We didn't deploy the tools for our teams to be able to communicate at that same level. And just the L10 structure has been so meaningful for us. And like I think back to the meetings beforehand, and I mean it's like if you were to ask everybody independently and anonymously, like, and they didn't have a fear of like I'm going to be criticized or I'm going to be somehow punitively hurt for this. I think the honest feedback would be meetings are pointless. Nothing gets done. We're wasting time. I have other things to do, and doing nothing is a better option than a bad meeting, right? And so, it's interesting to look back at that, and now like we just had last Thursday, we had our weekly leadership L10, and dude, it was beautiful. It was so efficient. We hit so many things. We had such meaningful conversation. One of the things I love is just the group accountability too. I like how there's kind of a tangent alert built into this process where it's like everybody has an equal voice to be like, "Hey, we're getting off track. Let's stay on this," right? And I mean, we went through, I think we had 11 issues and we hit them all. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like this, it just felt so good. And literally within the 90 minutes, I think only one of the sections we were off by 2 minutes, but we finished on time for the whole thing. Like we were 90 on the spot, and it was just like I couldn't imagine going back to not having that. You know what I mean? Like and it sounds basic. It's a meeting. It's like, yeah, of course I need meetings, but it's like a well structured meeting is so much different than a meeting, right? It's like I actually enjoy it now. I look forward to it. And one of the things, too, that I learned this actually through a friend of ours. They own an agency called Juicebox. They do something similar to what we do, but for life insurance specialists. And they're brilliant. Jim and Brian are just brilliant. And we're in a mastermind together called the Stake of the Union. And I remember this was before we were on EOS. They were using a tool called Bloom Growth, which we used to use, right? And so they got us onto that for a while. And I remember we were in a meeting at Stake of the Union, and we brought something up to Brian, and Brian was like, yeah, okay, I can get that to you on Monday. He goes into Bloom Growth. He just puts something on his leadership L10 like issues list, and then he just hits enter and forgets about it. And he's like, yeah, we'll get it done on Monday. And I was like, dude, I'm carrying around this big bag of shit that I got to deal with all day, right? And I have lists written down. I have different lists for different things, and sometimes I got to reorganize the list. And it's like, just the ability to stop doing that and to empty my head of all the shit that I'm dragging around with me all the time and just go, okay, this goes into that meeting. This goes into that meeting. We'll discuss it here. We'll discuss it there. And it's like off of my conscience until that meeting. It's liberating from a bandwidth perspective, having a place to actually put meaningful things and have people to talk about those things with, to be able to create solutions for. That has been so powerful for us.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about in EOS is compartmentalizing, and we have a spot for everything. If you want to get that thing out of your head and get it on your issues list, great, boom, compartment for that. If it's one of your biggest 90-day business priorities, boom, that's a rock. We got a compartment for that. If it's something that you guys need to get done in the next 7 days, it's a to-do. Boom, we got a compartment for that. If it's something you don't want to forget and you want to put it on your list, but you can't get it to this quarter, it goes on the VTO. Boom, we got a compartment for that. It's like you said, it's liberating to get those things out of your head. It's therapeutic. We all carry so much around with us. It's difficult.